Hey guys, welcome back to Exotic Car DIY. So we're going to be doing an upgrade on this video. We're going to be upgrading the downpipes on the E63. So first off, check out this. I had these shirts made. I'm actually really excited about these shirts. And that leads me into what we have here. So this is my first attempt at having something made. So I went out, found a person to make these. I'm actually really excited about these. These are for the 430. Don't make fun of the Full Rosa by Exotic Car DIY. But anyway, over here is what's going on the E63. So these are going to be the downpipes. They are catted, obviously, and I'm really excited about them. They came out really, really well. So we're going to put them on the E63 and test them out. So obviously for max performance and max sound, you're going to want catless downpipes.
How dare you!
But I don't want to get in trouble by the EPA. I don't want to kill baby seals. And practically, like, I put test pipes on the 430 just for a test. And when you let it idle in the garage while moving around cars to get it out, the whole garage would just...
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Be good just to hold them down by your side. Yeah, great.
With what was...
burn your eyes. Like, I just don't like that smell. And so I really wanted to get catted. So these are both 200 cell catalytic converters. So they should provide plenty of protection for the environment, but still allow enough sound and performance through. So anyway, let me give you a little detailed look at them, and then we're going to put them on the car. Here's what's wrong with the factory ones. Like, if you look at this pipe is actually squished. Like, it's only 2 inches tall, so that's 2.75. There's also a bunch of just factory dents in here that they use to clearance brackets. This is all mandrel bent, so it actually is going to flow really well. Over here, you see these neck down really tight. Those don't. They put me on the spot when they said you could put your plate on there, so I put Exotic Boost by Exotic Car DIY. So kind of a silly name. Like I said, they put me on the spot. I guess it's better than Red Star. Anyway, let's get them on there. All right, so here we are back underneath the car, and I'm having nightmare reminders of the motor mounts we did. Thank God we're not doing those. Downpipes are already off, so if you want to see how to take off the downpipes, they're in my other video. I'll link it here at the top right corner. But anyway, the only thing different this time is I did not unplug them. Little tip here. So what I did is when it was still warm, like after a drive, I spritzed these with a little bit of WD-40, and then while they were warm, I was able to remove them from the pipe. Previously, I tried everything and I could not. I even broke a wrench trying to get these O2 sensors off. So I left them in place. That made it 90 times easier because I'm not joking, it is the worst job in the world to unplug those O2 sensors. That was the hardest part about doing the motor mounts video. So anyway, I was able to leave the rear mounts in place, the exhaust in place. There's plenty of wiggle room with the rubber mounts to leave it in place, and then we're going to just install these. As you can see up here, the downpipe is mounted to the bridge pipe via just 2 bolts right there. So all we're going to need to do is just go ahead and install this up here like that. But we got to get the O2 sensors back in because, like I said, I didn't remove them. So we're going to gently just kind of put these into place. Now I'm going to turn them the other way about 4 turns, and that should give us plenty of threads. All right, so now I put the first downpipe just into place. It's being supported by my jack. You can use, obviously, a jack on the ground. And over here, I've been able to secure the first O2 sensor. Now we got to do the second O2 sensor, and then we're going to attach those 2 bolts that are way up there. Again, what I'm doing is just kind of turning it backwards, about 4 turns. That way, we're not going to leave the wire in a very pinched status. Boom, there we go. Now we can go ahead and snug it down with our 22. And then now's the tricky part. So I'll take one of the downpipe bolts and feed it up there on a very long extension and cross our fingers. All right, so now I've got the bolts just both started. As you can see, there's a lot of movement around there, so we need to position the pipe exactly where we want it before we tighten it down. Now back here in the back, we're going to take this bracket and go ahead and put its bolts back into place. And this is going to be the one that holds this into place and bolts to this clamp. All right, once you got the hardware in there, and rotate it in its correct position. Then we can reinstall the factory hardware. And it does look like we're going to have to kind of tweak this bracket just a little bit to make it perfect. So I guess the idea was this clamp is it could work for the rear wheel drive cars, which have the clamp here. They made it so I can move it here. So what I did is you have the tapered part pointing towards the middle of the car, the shorter bolt on the outside, and then the longer bolt is the one that holds the gap. So this piece comes up and stops right there, and it's going to be the clamp that holds it together. And now we just put this on the car. Snug them down nice and tight. Now we'll take a second one. I only had one boot, but obviously make sure to protect the ends on these really good. Couple reverse turns. Remember, you do not want to kink these wires, otherwise you'll be replacing these O2 sensors. And just like I did on the other side, a couple long extensions, some good lighting, and you can usually get these threaded pretty easily. Probably can't stress enough that you do not want to cross through these, so just be careful. Now they're just slightly snug, so we can now tweak the alignment of these and get them exactly where we want them. So now we just kind of slide the muffler back into place, get the clamps lined up. So we're going to kind of clamp it into place and then use the jack to kind of move it into place and then tighten everything down. I'm going to go ahead and install this bracket. Like I said, I'm going to wait to tighten it down until we get everything else really into place. All right, so now back here at the back. So this one's negotiable, meaning you can slide it in and out. This one is non-negotiable, so we're going to go and hook this one up. And you kind of, since we pushed the muffler or the resonator back, we have to bring it forward a little bit. So I'm going to leave it just a little bit loose so it doesn't come out, but I can rotate it if needed. So that should be good. So I'm kind of looking, remember this is a little bit thicker pipe. It doesn't have any of the indentations for the brackets. So I found that I needed to rotate it just a little bit clockwise, and that gave us the clearance we needed all around. So yeah, now we have, I can almost run my hand all behind the pipes everywhere. Now we'll finish that off with a ratchet. Again, good and tight, nothing crazy. Now I've tweaked the driver's side until we've got it exactly where I want. So kind of hold it in that position. So now we can just kind of come through, snug everything down. Use a ratchet for the final tightening. So now we have both downpipes completely secure at the front. We need to turn our attention to the rear. So in the back, we have several different things going on. We have these 10 millimeters that can kind of control a little bit up and down. These clamps, which obviously we can rotate. So we want to make sure that they're level, and we don't want these pipes touching because I have a feeling that they would vibrate. So what we're going to do is go ahead and just kind of make sure they're spread apart, tighten these down. You can see that they kind of have control over that. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jab 2 paint sticks in the middle here. That should keep the spacing between them apart. So now that the spacing and the altitude's correct, we can go ahead and tighten down these. All right, in theory, these should be able to come out. Now we have a 1 paint stip gap in between them. They're all tightened down. Might trim off this bolt, but other than that, we're almost done. So let's move on to the clamp. So we can go ahead and shove this gasket back in there. The clamp over it. Tighten it down. All right, well, here we go. The old ugly downpipes are off. We got the brand new ones on here. Again, don't make fun of me, but the Exotic Boost by Exotic Car DIY. They seem to fit absolutely perfect. You got plenty of room all around. They're not touching anywhere. I made sure all the wires of the Cat-a-ly-tic converters are out of the way. This bracket's perfect. The whole fitting here looks perfect. You know, lots of room right here. The only thing that I had to tweak was maybe these brackets here were just, you had to kind of tweak them just a little bit to make them work. So anyway, they're all on there. They look good. They should keep the heat down. and hopefully they sound good. Alright guys, so the downpipes are installed on the car and they sound good. It's a subtle difference. I mean, you're not going to get like 100% volume increase. All we did was just increase the diameter a little bit and install high flow cats, but they do sound good. You can notice during that cold start, there's a little bit more turbo whistle. You can hear it while you're driving, which is cool. And a little bit extra of a growl, which I kind of like. So anyway, the install went a lot better than I expected. I was really nervous, and but they fit on there perfectly. Like I had no issues at all, and no tweaking and anything like that. They just bolted right up, and it was super simple. And I got the or the O2 sensors undone, which that was the scariest part of the whole thing. So right now we are on our way out to the airport. I'm going to do some back-to-back runs just to see what Draggy says about these downpipes. To be honest, on a stock car, I don't think they're going to do a whole lot. My whole theory with the AMG is I believe that Mercedes kind of tuned the intake and the exhaust. They made it adequate, if you want to use that word, for the power level that they deliver factory. So it doesn't matter what you do to the intake or exhaust, it's really not going to boost a whole lot of performance. However, if you're one of those guys that's running like 800 rear wheel horsepower and 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, I guarantee that, well, I know that the intake and the exhaust is going to help you a lot. So maybe that's more for you. Either way, I just wanted to try these out. So let's talk about brand real quick. Technically, they're my brand.
It's a special brand.
Look with your special eyes.
My brand.
I commissioned the making of these, and they went very well. I kind of had a hunch that maybe, or an idea that I could maybe sell these. I don't know if I'm going to do that. What I might do is I might make a thread on MB World and maybe work together a group buy if there's enough interest, because this is not my business. I have a day job, obviously, so I'd only be doing this kind of as a favor for friends. So let me know, check out the MB World post, and we'll go from there, and maybe we can work something out.
30, 60.
All right, guys, so they only let me do 2 runs at the airport, but even so, I got some pretty definitive results. So take a look. Both stock and tuned, I set all new personal best. And if you have a Draggy device, if you've ever messed around with it, sometimes your runs will be all over the place, and you really got to try to get that really good time. So to be able to bust off your personal best on your first and only 2 runs was actually pretty encouraging, that those were actually better than all my other previous runs. Now, it's not a massive intake. I didn't gain like 2 seconds in a quarter mile or anything like that, but you know, any change you make that's positive is better. And I will note that there is no black boost intake on this anymore. I'm running stock intake. So those times that I'm comparing these downpipe runs were actually my black boost time. So these things are actually getting a better result than my previous best that I set with the black boost intake. So pretty encouraging on that. And the last thing I'll mention is just I've now had the car for, I think, almost a month now with these downpipes on there. No check engine light and no, no computer errors whatsoever. So the cats seem to be doing what they need to be doing. And so overall, I'm very happy with this upgrade. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching.